Okay.
Hi everyone, it's Nicola Burton from Music Means Business here, and I have got a very special guest with you today. We have Mr. Graham Buzz Bidstrup. How are you, Buzz? That's the introduction. How are you going in lockdown?
Well, I'm locked away more than locked down.
You're locked away.
I'm locked away in my little room, which is underneath my house.
And what have you been doing?
Hey?
What have you been doing for the past
Trying to get out.
As we all
I've been trying for 4 weeks to get out of here.
That'd be a great song. We gotta get out of this. Yeah.
Place. Why hasn't someone done that? Yeah, so there you go. What have I been doing? Well, you can see there's a piano over here, and there's other stuff for making music. So I've been doing that. Yeah, and I've been writing a bit of stuff, and I guess using the time constructively, which I think is I have done a bit of couch potatoism-ish, sitting down watching watching so many episodes of something in a row that I've never done that before.
So you've been binge
watching. Yeah. So
I think that's a good thing, that because we don't normally get time to do that, and it's good to actually stop and allow ourselves just to feel all the stuff that's going on with this lockdown. So good on you.
Well, yeah, I guess just getting also. I said to somebody the other day, my kind of work is a lot of it is done in a room by yourself in front of a screen, just like this. Right. Except I'm normally doing this kind of stuff, it's and my other work is kind of on phones and emails and stuff. So it hasn't been that. Not much different, really.
Not much different.
But I'm sure, yeah. But when I speak to some of my other friends who have been doing that, who normally have to commute into the office and that kind of stuff, they've been saying to me, how cool is it? They're really getting the idea that, that it's actually not so bad to answer your emails in your underpants, which is actually pretty cool in the morning, as long as it's not cold, but that kind of stuff, and people, hopefully people in business might think about that is an option for their workers, and people can, instead of 2.5 hours in a train, bus, whatever you have to do to get to the office and back out again, you could actually have that as really productive time for yourself. To be watch for TV.
Well, we Pushworthians, we've worked like that for the last decade. So yeah. Everyone works from home, and they can come in occasionally, but we work remotely, and so everyone has a far more healthy lifestyle.
Well, yeah, I know Manny's sort of said things to me sometimes, and I think, I wonder when he's talking to me, I know he's remotely working, but in a hole somewhere maybe, and he's still working, he's still organising that slot, yeah.
Well, this is the first time in 30 years that we haven't been. Sorry?
You're ahead of the curve in that way.
We're ahead of the curve in that way. So it hasn't really changed much for us, other than absolutely no gigs, and the history of Pushworth, 30 years for us this July. This is the first time we've had no gigs. So it's a new thing, but are actually...
It's a bit like all the cities with no cars, isn't it? All the cities with no cars and no people. You have a look, you go back into your diary at this time, and there's no gigs.
No gigs, exactly. So, what do you think? Because we're trying to look into the future. What do you think is going to change in the music industry post-COVID, post-lockdown, when we're all released back into the wild? What do you think is going to be different now?
I don't know what in the sense of the way people distribute their music and the way that they try to find a market. I don't think much is going to change at all.
Okay,
it's going to be the same. You've got to find your market. You've got to find your audience, right?
Yeah.
What I hope might change, and there was a little hint of something in a thing I read the other day, was that maybe if all, this is like a big if, right? If all of the major artists and major artists and their managers, the people who make the vast percentage of the money, it's sort of like when if they all got together and said to all the streaming services, you know what, we're over this. This is bullshit. The people who are making the music aren't making enough. We're going to change. We're going to flop it around, and we're going to get all these people to follow us, and we're going to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And you actually ended up, wouldn't that be a nice thing? That's what I would like to happen.
I think that that's a possibility. I think now that we've actually had to learn to work virtually, we've had to build our music brand online, digitally, it helps us to reimagine what we could create, because the future is only going to be what we can create from this place where we've got no control over anything. So I think I like your idea. I like your version. If we could make that happen, that'd be worth it.
Well, the thing was, isn't it funny, pre-COVID, the thing that everyone was doing to make money was playing live gigs to as many people as they could, as many times of the year as they could.
Yeah.
And that was like why everyone was touring. They got these monstrous concerts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's now totally the opposite. And I can't see those kind of events. I can't see I can't see a game of football with 20,000 people at the game happening for quite some time.
No, that's right.
That's right. Months. Yeah. Who knows? Because what will happen, we know what's going to. We can all know what's going to happen. They're going to let some people get together. Some people are going to, there's going to be another mini Ruby Princess where there's something going to happen. There's a big outbreak somewhere. And they go, oh shit, hang on a minute. We shouldn't have done that. Rain it all in again and it'll all stop, and we'll have a couple of those, and it's going to do that for a year or so.
That's right. So our entire business plan for this market is based on playing live. So you're right. We have to create another option where live, if that can't happen, we can still actually build a business.
Yeah, and like this is the same vibe. If the small percentage of the artists and managers who make the most money out of the whole industry, if they all got together and said, listen, all of the streaming, all of the live concerts and everything, everyone's going to get paid a fair and equitable rate. Everyone's going to be able to make money, but the artists who do it, so that when you go and do your live concert for your studio like this, you don't have to put a little tip jar out and hope like hell that somebody puts some money into it. Exactly. You know that if it gets streamed 2,000, 20,000 times, you're going to get 0.000% and you're going to get paid it. And it's going to be the same for the biggest artists in the world. They're going to get the same rate. But they're just going to get billions of people watching it, but they're going to get the same rate as you, who might get 1,000 people watching it.
Yeah.
That seems fair to me.
I think we've got some germs to start a new business plan, hey? What do you reckon?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, sorry.
Well, a lot of you might not recognize this man who is a rock and roll legend in Australian music industry. You've been doing this for how many years?
Hey?
How many years? 110. So you were the founding drummer for the Angels, and then...
Well, I was the second drummer of the Angels. The second
drummer, and then GANGgajang. But your work in the community... Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, all sorts of stuff. The Party Boys and other bands and... Yeah.
But your work in the community, in the indigenous community, I think is probably groundbreaking work that you've been doing with, tell us about that. So Thumbs Up, the Thumbs Up organisation.
Well, I just had the wonderful fortune to work with Jimmy Little, who was a wonderful man and an incredible entertainer and singer and humanitarian. And through my association with him, I ended up and I'm proudly the CEO of Uncle Jimmy Thumbs Up, which is a non-for-profit charity that works with Indigenous kids, but and families, a lot of it in remote communities in the top end, anything above Alice Springs up, and we've done that for 13 years now.
Wow. Mm. So what have you got coming up at the moment? Because I went to What Air with you a couple of years ago, and that blew my mind. I couldn't have been prouder to have been associated with what you guys were doing out there with your music programs. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, look, you know, we basically used music. Our core thing was nutrition education for kids, you know, in schools, and we used music and video to engage with kids, write songs with them about eating good food and having a healthy lifestyle. That then translated to other programs where people who were doing domestic violence programs and stuff would get us to come in and talk with a bunch of kids in school and maybe write a song about respect and being looking after each other. And we've done that to the point. Really, our little thing was, you know, good tucker, long life. We just kept, you know, banging on about eating good food. So we've come up with the Good Tucker app, which I can show you.
That'd be great, because I want to know what you're doing right now, so we can.
You can't see that right now, but you can
Can't
share
really
it.
see it, but I'll put a link to it. Do you have a?
Yeah, it's just this thumsup.org.au.
Okay.
People will be able to find it. You can get it for Android, and you can get it for Apple, and it's free. And what you do is you take your phone. I haven't got a product here. I wasn't ready to do this, but you know what you will do is take your phone and you scan a barcode on a product, and it tells you thumbs up if it's a good one. It's a green thumbs up, a yellow thumbs up sideways if it's something you shouldn't have too much of, and a red thumbs down for a bad, avoid product. Yeah.
I think it's something that I should probably use. Actually, all of us should use something like that.
Well, you know, I use it quite regularly.
You use it too? I think it's a great initiative.
I use it.
So look, I'm going to put some links in the content of this, just so that people can go to Uncle Jimmy Thumbs Up and they can have a look at the wonderful work you're doing. But I think for me, because you've been in the industry a long time, it's really good for people to see that there's so much more that you can do based on a music career, isn't there? There's so much you can do. Yeah,
and I mean, I think everyone, everyone's got more than one skill, more than one talent, you know, and sometimes if people, particularly in music, because it's so driven on being the best, got to be the best, and the competition to get, you know, into a position of where you actually get somewhere. So if you find other guys like Ronnie Wood paints, you know, from the Stones, he paints, and other people paint and they do other things, and you know, I'm just one of a lot of people who, you know, I have another skill, which I guess is organizing stuff. And I get that from my mother. I know I do.
And thank God you've had that skill, because that's really been such a positive asset for GANGgajang over the years, having you being the driving force with that major Australian artist band. And also like the work that you're doing out in the field, using music as a pathway for Indigenous children. It's, you know, thank God. It's so good. It's so good to see. Yeah.
It's wonderful. I should have been in, my schedule was I would have been in the Northern Territory right now.
Right now. Okay.
Had the COVID situation not reared its ugly head.
Well, look, if you were a time traveller and you could go back to December, what message would you give yourself?
Oh, buy more toilet paper.
Oh, no. Something more deep and inspiring than that. Come on.
No, look, I shouldn't be flippant. Before that, if in December, if somebody said, you know, this was going to happen, if someone told me this was going to happen, I would have phoned up some of my friends in higher places and gone, take this thing seriously and don't buggerize around with it. Don't piss around telling people this and meaning that, and get your shit together, and you know, we'll deal with it. And I personally believe they could have done this without disrupting, without causing, probably plunging us into the greatest, you know, economic depression we've had since the 1930s.
Yeah, so act sooner and make some difference.
Sooner, and don't, I mean, You know, there is listen. You know, if you start with the germ of all of this is you listen to the scientists, you listen to the people who know. You listen to the people who know. Now, the first person who knew was the guy in China, the doctor who ended up dying.
Yeah.
He's the first guy that knew, and then then the next person that knew as much as he did, when they said this thing is like really dangerous.
Yeah.
So in the future, you just got to find those people really early and you go, okay, who knows what's going on? Yep, it's gonna kill X number of people, which, you know, in you've seen, you know, things that's interesting stuff that's going around. How many people would have died of the flu? How many people would have died of diabetes? How many people would have died of heart disease? You know, and you add them up and you put the numbers and then you put COVID next to it and you go, oh shit, it hadn't killed that many.
Yeah. So act sooner. If you could go back in December, act sooner, take definitive action, and let's get this sorted.
Yeah, and you know, don't let things like the Ruby Princess happen.
I know. Well, look, this time's going to go down in history, isn't it?
That name, they'll never be able to sail that thing again. They're going to have to rename it or scuttle it. But they won't be able to scuttle it because nobody will let it go down in their waters because it'll be full of COVID.
That's true. Look, Buzz, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I always love speaking to you. And it's really great for emerging artists that are out there looking down the barrel of no gigs, to give them a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel so that they can see that there's so much you can do as an artist, that there are possibilities now that we can look into building our digital music brands. Like Buzz has said, there are some options that perhaps we can explore and feel like, you know, this is not the end. This is a beginning of a reimagination of the music industry. So, you know, thank you so much.
Sorry, thank you. I did make a flippant thing about leaving the tip jar when you do online stuff, but that is a legitimate, it's absolutely the way that it's going to happen, with people getting together in different places and making music, which is working. You know, Jimmy Barnes's one the other night was fantastic, and some of the concert that was on the other night. So the technology enables you to do that, and the tip jar is you connecting to your audience and they be willing to give you $10, the same as they would if they went to the local pub to see you. They give you the $10 anyway.
Exactly. So guys, there's so much that we've got to look forward to. So thank you so much, Buzz. That's awesome. And I will see you guys next time.